Hi there! Welcome back to the MB Makes knitting channel. My name's Melissa and I'm the maker behind MB Makes. You can find me here on YouTube as well as on Ravelry and Instagram as MB Makes. Today I'm here for my February knitting podcast. I will talk about what I knit during the month of February, and also at the end I will go through my acquisitions because I have quite a few this month. And that's because I went to London at the beginning of February with my boyfriend and we visited 4 yarn stores because I really wanted to get some British yarns that aren't easily available here in Belgium. So I got them as a souvenir, but with projects in mind, or at least an idea of what I will make with them. So yeah, that's what's coming up. But let's first maybe start with what I'm wearing. And I can't believe it's finally finished. It is my Lyon sweater. This one has been on my needles since August, when we went on our summer holiday to the south of France. I cast it on and yeah, then I wanted to finish it before fall, but that didn't happen, of course, because I had too many other whips on my needles. But that's okay. I'm not sure if I can say that I really enjoyed working on this. I loved the pattern. It's a Petiteknit pattern, if I didn't say that. It's really clear and I love the finished results. Yeah, the sweater is beautiful and it's all very well explained in the pattern. The yarn is lovely to wear. I've knit this in Holstgarn Supersoft. And yeah, they have a great color selection. And I got the Nougat for the main color and Coral for the contrast stripes. And I love the finished object, but the combination of the yarn with my wooden needles was really not great. I think that's the main reason why it took me so long to knit this, because it really was hard on my shoulder. And yeah, it wasn't knitting very smoothly because I held the yarn double and I knit it on 4mm needles, I believe. So yeah, but I'm really happy with this finished object. I've already worn it. I finished it just before we went to London. Then I quickly gave it a soak and blocked it. In only 2 days, I used my hair dryer because it was still a bit damp before we left to make it dry. And then I worn it once on an evening in London when we went to a musical together. And that was really nice, kept me really warm. Also outside because yeah, it's February in London, so it was raining and quite cold. And then I also wore it already to the office this week. Yeah, and I also like to wear it when I work from home. I'm just wearing a t-shirt underneath this now. And yeah, it's no problem for me. The yarn feels rustic and woolly. It also smells really woolly. But it's not itchy. I can feel it on my skin, but it's not irritating me. So yeah, I plan on using this yarn again for future projects, but then I will definitely keep in mind to use my metal needles. As I've heard from other people on Instagram that, I read that this yarn really is better with metal needles. But yeah, it was too late, I had already started the project. And I wasn't going to switch needles because yeah, that could make my gauge change totally. So I just kept going, taking it a bit slower. But yeah, the finished result is really nice. And I don't know if I said I knit this in size between small and medium. So I think I cast on for the small size because I wanted it a little bit more fitted because I think the positive ease on this normally is quite large. But I wanted it more fitted and so that I could easily wear it under a jacket. But I think I cast on a medium, but did a little bit less increases to not make the yoke so deep. And you can see I have a nice bit of ease. It's not form-fitting, but it's not super oversized. I actually haven't measured my gauge after finishing and blocking this. But yeah, all other information will be on my Ravelry. Also the amount of yarn I used, I'm not entirely sure. For the contrast color I can weigh my leftovers because I bought 4 skeins. But for the main color I used a cone, which was 500 grams, but I didn't measure exactly what I used. So yeah, that's really not so good for if I want to knit this again. But I definitely had enough yarn and I have leftovers that I can use for something else. So now that was the only finished object that I have this month. Yeah, I think so. But I'm very happy that it's finally off the needles. I have again a lot of things on my needles at the moment. Some garments, some smaller projects. I like to switch between projects regularly. So yeah, that's just what I like. But I will start with my main whip at the moment, which is a sweater that you've seen before. I don't think I have any big new cast-ons, just an accessory that I will show later. So, the first whip I would like to talk about today is my port sweater by Ozetta. And as you can see, I made quite a bit of progress on this. So I mainly knit on this sweater at the beginning of this month, but then afterwards I picked up this one as kind of my main whip. And I had put a stitch marker where I was last time. So I was halfway done the stockinette of the body. And after I finished the skein I was working with, I picked up for the collar. It looks a bit floppy and strange now, but I have tried it on and it fits really nice. And of course I think with blocking that it will sit better as well when the stitches relax a bit more. Yeah, really nice turtleneck collar. And then when I finished the length of the body that was suggested in the pattern, I tried it on to make sure it was okay for me, and I liked that length because I knew that you have quite a big chunk of ribbing at the bottom. But instead of following the instructions just to knit the ribbing, I decided to add in a split hem for this project. I wanted to try it out. I don't have any sweaters with split hem that are handmade. I have some store-bought sweaters with split hem and I actually quite like that. Especially for at home. And I think this will be a really cozy and nice work from home sweater. So I tried out this split hem. I just need to halfway the body, and then instead of continuing in the round, I knit back and forth on the front part first until the length suggested in the pattern for the regular hem, and then I did a sewn bind off. And yeah, I put the stitches for the back on hold at that moment. And then afterwards I picked them up again and also knit the back part. And again did a sewn bind off. Yeah, I finished that last night, I think. Yeah, I finished bind off last night for the body. And so now I can pick up for the sleeves. Since this is on 5.5mm needles, I think the sleeves will go quite fast. And also this is a drop shoulder, so the sleeves don't have to be super long, since the shoulder will already drop a big part of your arm. So yeah, I think this will be finished very soon. And that will be very nice since the weather is still not super warm. You can see that spring is on its way, but it's still quite cold, especially in the mornings. So yeah, this will be perfect to wear still. I'm using Dererum Natura Gilliat. And this is my skein. And yeah, I'm using my metal needles for this. And yeah, these come in 100-gram balls. And I've only used 3 until now for the entire body and the collar. And I bought 6 in total a while ago. So yeah, I don't think I will need 3 more skeins to finish the sleeves, so I will have a bit of leftover. But that's okay, I could use it for something else, a nice hat or something, or use it as a contrast color in another sweater. Because I definitely also plan on using this yarn again in the future. I don't currently have any specific plans, but I really like how it knits up. Yeah. And this also, I made a swatch, so I know that this also blooms really nicely after blocking. So I'm curious to see how this sweater transforms after blocking. I'll definitely take some pictures or film a little bit, so you can see as well. So that is my first whip. Then now let's move on to a little bit of accessories and socks. I have another purple whip. This is a gift knit for my grandma, and I finished the first one. I'm knitting her a pair of penny gloves because at Christmas I gave some to my aunt, and she saw them and she claimed them as her own, because she really wanted something to keep her hands warm in winter. I didn't think she would be a fingerless glove kind of person, so that's why I didn't make her a pair before. But apparently, she really wants something like that. So I'm making her her own pair so that she can give my aunt's pair back. I'm using the same yarn as I used for the blooming lavender socks. This is the purple color that I used. And although this wasn't the best yarn to use for socks, because I used this for the heels and the toes as well as for the color work. And it kind of felted quite quickly because this is a really soft yarn. I think it has some cashmere in it. This is a hand-dyed yarn. But I thought, for these fingerless mittens, that might be just perfect. And my grandma loves purple. So I just cast on the second mitten. So these will probably be finished by next time. As I still want to get them to her while it's cold. As you probably know from previous podcasts and from my Instagram, I love purple and green. So there's quite a lot of whips using these colors. And for our trip to London, I wanted a simple stockinette small project. I could have taken my grandma's mitts, maybe I should have, but I wanted to also try out this yarn that I got last summer, which is West Yorkshire Spinners 4-ply. Venetia from the Woolly Worker brought this to me from Scotland when she came to Belgium last summer and we met up. And so I wanted to try this out before I went to London to see if I maybe could get some more of that sock yarn in one of the stores there. In the end I didn't, but I got some other lovely yarns, which I will show later. But I do really like this yarn. It's a self-striping yarn. I've used a contrast color, which is Melenweed from Lana Grossa, which is just a commercial yarn. And I'm using it for the cuff, which I did a really wide cuff this time. And I will also use it for the heel flap and the toe. I'm just knitting a simple vanilla sock, no specific pattern, just cast on 60 stitches I think, or 64, I wrote it down somewhere. So yeah, this is just a simple and portable whip for me that I can knit on the train to work, or when I go somewhere I can easily take this with me. Okay, and one more sock whip maybe. I'm also working on this sock. I think I showed it in previous podcast. I haven't made much progress on this because it uses a chart. I think I can memorize it if I knit a bit more on it. But these are the Forest Trail socks from the 52 Weeks of Sock book. Volume 1, I think. And I'm using this hand-dyed sock yarn by the Mindful Creators. This is from her fall collection. And it knits up really nicely. You can see the texture here. Really nice. Ribbed. And cable texture. There's not really a rush in finishing this because it's more of a fall, more of fall color. But yeah, I'll just work on it this month a bit more. And another sock that's on my needles. Okay, the camera got cut off because my storage was full. But I'm back. So, I was just about to tell you about my Aviva socks. I test knit this pattern for Lydia Rabarber. And yeah, the test knit only required you to finish one sock. It was back in November of last year. And I'm using this hand-dyed yarn by Olivia and Oliver Fibers. And this is just a beautiful spring sock. It has a lace pattern all over the sock. And this is the second sock. I have cast it on, I just need to spend some time on it. It's really lovely once I'm working on it. I really enjoy knitting this pattern. And I want to have this finished for spring. So I need to get going on this. But just, yeah, short mention of this sock, just for myself that I don't forget to work on this. Then let's get back to another bigger whip. This is my stick season sweater by the Creabea. And as you can see, I've just connected in the round here at the front. Last time I had just finished the back panel. And then I now picked up stitches for the front panel on either side. Worked increases for the neck, and now I just did one row for the front panel. And yeah, I just need to continue working this lovely ribbed texture. And then I can hopefully soon connect in the round so that I can do some stockinette in the round again. Because yeah, now with my port sweater I'm on Sleeve Island. And I originally had hoped to finish this sweater by the end of February so I can wear it to the Noah Kahan concert. Because this sweater was named after one of his new songs, which is Stick Season. And yeah, I quickly realized that it wouldn't be possible to finish this before the concert. I only cast it on end of December. And since it's on 3.5mm needles, it goes quite slow, but I really enjoy working on it. I'm using Drops Daisy in this beautiful green. And yeah, it has some lovely details here that continue at the side. And it will have some 2x2 ribbing for the neck and hems, I think. I need to read the pattern before I continue again. But yeah, this is a lovely whip. The yarn is really soft and yeah, squishy. That's probably also because of the texture. I do believe that this will pill a bit after I finish it. But yeah, that's what depillers are for, right? So this is another sweater project. Then I also still have my Pippin cardigan on the needles, but I haven't worked on it this month. I think maybe I just did 1 or 2 rows. So yeah, I won't be showing that one. But yeah, that's still on the needles. I have too many whips, so I can't make progress on all of them each month. But that's okay, that's just my choice. Then, since we're now in the green whips, I will continue showing some other things I have on my needles. You have seen this before as well. I think I just cast it on before last podcast. This is my own sock design. Just knitting this without a pattern and making it up myself. I found this textured stitch pattern on Pinterest and I thought it would look cute on a sock. I'm using this Retrosaria Mondim yarn. Again, a gorgeous green color. It's really hard to capture exactly on camera. It's really vibrant. Mossy green. Love it. And so this is what it looks on the sock. And I've just finished the heel flap. I now need to turn the heel and then start picking up stitches and do the gusset decreases. But I'm loving where this is going. And I've tried it on already to see if the circumference is okay. And it fits really lovely around my leg already. The yarn knits up really beautiful. It's great for this textured pattern. So yeah, excited to see this finished sock soon. I'm not really sure if I'm going to write a pattern for it. If I do, it will just be a free pattern. But yeah, we'll see. Let me know if you're interested. Then I also applied for a test knit. I didn't think I was going to do any test knits this year, or at least not specifically for garments. But I do like to knit accessories as well, and socks of course. So when Breibelly showed this accessory on her Instagram, I was really interested in test knitting this, and I'm very happy that I was selected. So I'm test knitting her bumblebee mitts. It's upside down. Her bumblebee mitts. This is a pattern by Breibelly. She's a Belgian knitwear designer. And when I saw them, I knew I had to make them. They looked so cute. She did them with more bees on the mitten, and the bees were the same color as the mitten itself. So it's quite subtle, but I decided to make my bee pop a bit more on my green mitten and used some real bee colors that I had in my stash. I'm using the recommended Novita 7 Brothers yarn. I had this in stash, and I had plans for to use this for DK weight socks, but I thought this was a perfect color for some mittens, so I used it for this. And the colors of the bee are also Novita, except for the yellow, which is from another whip that I will show in just a minute. So yeah, this is the first mitten. I think I will just keep the one bee. Or I might add another one here, I'm not sure yet. I will see once I finish the second one. So I'm working on the second one. I just did the cuff and I'm ready to do the increases for the thumb. Yeah, it's really nice. I can actually try it on. So you can see what it looks like. Like that. So yeah, this is done with embroidery. And I really enjoyed doing this. It's not my first time doing embroidery. I have done a bit of embroidery just on plain fabric with an embroidery hoop and real embroidery thread. But yeah, this was very simple, very beginner friendly, and it looks super cute. It really didn't take that long as well. So it's a nice way to, spice up a basic accessory. I think I have another week to finish this second one. I knit this in only 3 days, where I really took it slow, didn't knit on it too much. So this is really a fast knit. You can probably just finish the whole pair in a weekend. If you have some more time. So yeah, this will also probably be something that I make to gift knit. Just lovely. So then the yellow ochre whip I was talking about is this one. This is my ginger hat by Adorable Knits. Yeah, Adorable Knits. She's also here on YouTube and on Instagram. And she's also a Belgian knitwear designer. And this is part of her ginger collection. If you've watched my podcast before, you know that I also have a ginger sweater on the needles. But I'm currently not working on that one, since it's more of a fall color. I do want to pick it up again, maybe during summer, to have it finished before fall. But we'll see. When I'm in the mood to knit some cables. But yeah, this is just a bit of a slug for me to knit on, because it's all in twisted rib. Not half twisted rib, but fully twisted rib. And yeah, it's just not so nice for my hands to work that stitch. But yeah, I'm doing a little bit at a time, and yeah, I will hopefully get through the ribbing sometime soon, and then I can start doing the cable pattern, which looks really lovely, and I really want this hat, but it's gonna take some more time. I know she also recently released a shawl pattern in the same cabled stitch, and also some mittens. So yeah, I can maybe make a nice set. I don't think I will need 2 skeins of this Dererum Natura Ulysse in this mustard color. So I might be able to get a pair of mittens out of them as well to make with this hat. But yeah, that's for somewhere further in the year probably. And one last small whip I want to show is just a very basic headband. I'm just knitting a big tube on some small needles. This is really not a portable knit since I'm using a yarn cone from Woolly Knit in their merino base, and also as an extra strand some Katja mohair, which pairs really well with this merino. This is my progress keeper from where I was last time. So I have knit a bit on it. I mostly use this as my meeting knitting. So when I work from home and I have a meeting where I don't have to take any notes or anything, I just have to listen, then I can just work endless stockinette in the round on this. So yeah, it's already quite long, but I think I still need to double this size before I have... No, maybe not double. Maybe I'm two-thirds already of the length I need. But yeah, I just keep this as a mindless meeting whip. So yeah, that's all of my whips. Then now we can go into acquisitions. Okay, so I have quite a few acquisitions this month, as I said before. I went to London at the beginning of this month and we visited 4 yarn stores. And yeah, I took my boyfriend with me to all of them. Yeah, I got some really nice souvenirs. But first, something that I pre-ordered at the beginning of January, I think, and that came in the mail just before I left, is some hand-dyed yarn by the Mindful Creators. And it's this one. This one is called Relax Putnam. The collection that she launched was a Only Yarn in the Building collection, inspired by the Disney Plus series Only Murders in the Building with Selena Gomez. And yeah, this was one of the colorways. And yeah, I love purple, so I had to get this beautiful purple one. She also had a lovely green, but I was just more attracted to this purple. I got it on her bouncy DK base, and I got 5 skeins in total to make a sweater. I do not have a specific sweater in mind yet, but I do know I want to make something simple and stockinette, where the yarn can really shine. So if you have any recommendations for a DK weight stockinette sweater, yeah, you can let me know. It can be a raglan or maybe a drop shoulder. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. And then another skein from that same collection is this one, and this is called Tie-Dye Guy. I got it on her Soulful Sock base, which is the same base that I use for the Forest Trail socks. yeah, I thought this was a really cool colorway to make some tie-dye socks. I will maybe just pair it with a white as a contrast color, or just only use this yarn. I don't know which pattern I will use it for. Maybe just a simple vanilla sock or something with ribbing. But yeah, really lovely. And the yarn is really nice to work with. Then onto my London purchases. I will maybe go in the order that I bought them to make it easier for myself. So the first store that we visited was Loop London. I already asked my boyfriend on previous trips to London to buy me some yarn from Loop, and he did. But this time I really was excited to visit the store myself and get some lovely goodies. I didn't find anything really to make an entire sweater or other garment with, but I did get some yarn for accessories and socks. The first is, sorry for the noise, this yarn kit. It's specifically for a cowl that was also as a sample in the store. So I saw the sample and I was like, wow, I need to make that. I need to have that and wear it. It looks gorgeous. And it uses John Arbon Yarndelic yarns. And that was yarn that I wanted to try out. So yeah, I thought that's just perfect. I can get this kit. I still need to buy the pattern for it. I can find it on Ravelry. You can find it as well. It's the Soundwave Static Cowl. So you can use yarns that you have as well for it. I don't know if you can see clearly, but it's like a cute wavy pattern. So this is for color work. And I'm really excited to try this out. I love, again, this green. It's really similar to the green from my socks. Yeah, these yarns are just beautiful. So yeah, this will definitely be something that I cast on this year because I want to have it for fall. Then I also got this bright and gorgeous skein of pink. This is the Uncommon Thread yarn and it's a BFL Light Decay. It's a 100% superwash blue-faced Leicester wool. And yeah, it's hand-dyed in Britain. And it's called Peony. And the color is just so vibrant. I don't have any yarn in this color in my stash, I think. And it could make a great hat or be used as a color in something else with color work or stripes. Yeah, it's just lovely and it's a nice pop of color. And then the last thing I got at Loop was a skein of La Bien-Aimée sock yarn. This is, I believe, also the Tough Sock. Yeah, BFL Tough Sock. I have used this yarn before on some socks, on my rainy day socks. I used the grey with colorful speckles, and I really loved this pink one as well, with some other colorful darker pinks and oranges through it. It's really an amazing yarn to work with. It is on the more pricier side, but I think it really is worth it. Yeah, this is of course not a British yarn, but yeah, I saw it and I really wanted this color to make another pair of cute spring socks. So that's what I got at Loop. If you are in London yourself for a little trip and you also want to visit Loop It's really in the center of London. You can easily get to it by the underground and just stop at the station Angel, which is on the Northern Line, I believe. So it was really accessible to get there. The next shop we went to was Beautiful Knitters. I also got this tote bag with my purchase and the loop one as well. So Beautiful Knitters is also in the center of London, easily accessible. I think you can use the underground as well and take the Victoria line to Pimlico. And then just a little walk to the shop. And there I got some sock yarn that I thought was really interesting, which is an aloe vera sock yarn. And I thought this color was just beautiful with the blues and the greens and the purples. Yeah, it's a superwash wool and polyamide blend. And yeah, apparently it also uses aloe vera. Yeah, treated with aloe vera. So yeah, I'm really interested to use this yarn and curious how it knits up. And then I got my first sweater quantity, or actually cardigan quantity of yarn. I got this British yarn, which is the by Lexans Yorkshire Sheepsoft DK 100% British wool with blue-faced Leicester and Masham. And I got it in this dark blue color. So it's a DK weight yarn. I got 5 skeins of it, and I'm planning to make the Eva cardigan by Petiteknit with this yarn. I already had the project in my queue, and I knew I wanted to either make it in a dark grey or dark blue color to have a nice staple cardigan. And so when I saw this yarn, I really thought it would make a nice Eva cardigan. So that's something I want to knit up either later this year or next year. But I'm really excited for it. And then we went to 2 other yarn stores that were further away from the center. We had to take the overground and then a bus to return back to where we were staying. So it's a little bit less accessible if you're in the center of London, but it is worth it. The first store we went to, oh, I forgot. I also got this tote bag in Beautiful Knitters. And it has a lot of British sheep on it. Thought it was really nice as a project bag. But what's inside is what I got at Wild and Woolly. It's still in a bag. And this is yarn by West Yorkshire Spinners. It's the blue-faced Leicester fleece, and it's again a DK weight yarn made of 100% British wool by West Yorkshire Spinners. And I got it in this beautiful green. I think you can see a pattern here. It's the same green again as my sock. Well, kind of. It looks really close in color. But I absolutely love this, and I want this green as a sweater. I don't have a specific pattern in mind, but again, maybe something of a drop shoulder or saddle shoulder, simple stockinette sweater, maybe something with a little texture. But I think this color would make a great sweater for me. And once I decide on a pattern, I will probably cast this on. And then the last shop we went to was Knit with Attitude. It's only a 30-minute walk from Wild and Woolly, so you can combine those stores easily. And what I got there was the fiber company Lore. I've heard Rebecca from the Creabea already talk about this yarn, also Venetia from The Woolly Worker in her podcast. And so I was really interested in trying out this British yarn. It's sourced and produced in England. And it feels quite rustic, but also soft. I've heard that it's lovely to work with and creates a lovely fabric. So I got 3 of these to make a slipover. And this will probably become the Lauder slipover by the Creabea. The pattern is currently in testing. She has all-in-one pattern, a vest, cardigan and sweater with a lovely cable texture. And so these 3 would be enough to knit a slipover. A really nice basic white that I can pair with some colorful undershirts. So those are all my acquisitions from the past month. And I think I will not have many acquisitions in March. Although I just placed an order yesterday for some more yarn. But that's a pre-order for the Bridgerton yarn. I don't know if you've read about it on Instagram. So yeah, I pre-ordered some yarn, but that will only come in May probably. So yeah, I will try and not buy any more yarn in March. I don't have any plans to go to yarn store specifically this month. I don't need any more yarn for a specific project. I have enough to work on now. And then in April I do plan to go to Knit and Knot, which is a yarn fair in the Netherlands. It's just across the Belgian border in Tilburg. And I will go there with my mom on a day trip for my birthday, which is in the same weekend. So that will be very lovely. So yeah, I think that's it for this month's podcast. I do plan on filming 2 special videos in the coming month. One will be my spring knitting plans, because besides all the whips that I already have here, I do want to cast on some more spring stuff or work on some things that are in hibernation that I want to finish this spring. And the other video I want to make is a cardigan video for cardigans that you can wear all year round. All of those are cardigans that on my future knitting list, but I wanted to combine them into one video and maybe inspire you for some cardigans that you can knit this spring or summer. They will probably all be DK weight cardigans, so they will be very versatile. So that's what's coming up next. And then, like I did in my last podcast episode, I wanted to give some recommendations for other podcasts that I really like to watch and maybe you don't know of yet. So the first one is Hip Knit Hooray. I only discovered this podcast in the fall of last year. And she has some really lovely videos. She creates some great content. And yeah, I really love watching her videos. I think she's also called Rebecca. And yeah, I really recommend watching her videos. The other one is the Creabea. Rebecca Clow, the designer of the Lauder vest and lots of other, and the stick season sweater. I haven't finished any of her patterns yet, but I do have quite a few in my library and on my needles now, so yeah, definitely recommend her podcast as well. And then the last one I recommend is by Adorable Knits, Dorothy, who is a Belgian knitwear designer from the Ginger collection. I really recommend watching her podcasts. They are filled with, what she has on her needles, designs she's working on. So it really gives a look behind the scenes of a knitwear designer. So I really recommend watching her podcast as well. So that's really it for this month. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I really love reading all your comments. I got a lot of lovely comments on my last few videos and also a lot of new subscribers. So I want to thank you all for being here and wish you happy knitting. Bye!